Today's episode is brought to you by Strong Coffee Company. Go to strongcoffeecompany.com, get 20% off when you use the promo code ATI Wrestling. So, like the last time I saw you was probably, I mean, it's got to be 2020, right? 5 years?
Yeah, yeah, COVID, probably either right before or right after when everything started kicking back off. Yeah, I would say somewhere around that range, maybe 2021 when we
Yeah,
came
I
back
think
in.
it was. I think it was because I was reffing with Steve, and I think you and Bronson come up to the show. I believe that's what happened, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken. So it
I
probably
think
was.
so.
It was probably 2021 at the time, I believe. I want to say that, but what you been up to, man? I mean, like what you been doing for the last last 4 years?
Yeah. Uh, you know, working a lot, raising my kids. We unfortunately, we had that tragic loss in 2023, with the baby mom with Nicole with my daughter's mama passed away. And I was on the verge of being like done after COVID and after all that stuff with Elevate and everything kind of just faded out. I kind of just let it go. I was focusing more on my kids, healthy lifestyle for them. And then Braxton Hunter and Alex and all them got back together, wanted to do a benefit show, put it on. It was an amazing show. Um, it was a benefit show for me and my kids, and everything went great. And yeah, so after that night, it was like, throwing gas back in the tank. I was fired up, ready to come back. Like that lit another fire under me to get back into the ring, just to give this thing another go around. And so far, so good. I can say my mindset and my focus has been well well motivated this go around than what it was the last few years.
I'll just say this, man. My condolences to you. I know that had to been a hard time. I was just
Appreciate it.
glad that I was glad to see the community come around. You talk about Braxton, you talk about Alex. I was glad to see them come around, be there for you in that time of need because that's something that you know you don't want to experience, and it's something that's hard to go through. And for you to come back like this, man, that shows a testament to what you got in the tank, my man.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And like you said, the biggest thing was the community. We had so many people, excuse me, so many people reach out, and it just kind of like brought a lot of old memories back. When Elevate was successful and running great, and we decided like to keep going and try to get something going back in Chalmette. And so here we are. Now we with TWA Takeover Wrestling, and we've been doing very well with that. So hopefully we keep going. We had a big push with the parish president and the Louisiana Crawfish Fest. We got invited to work that, and that was just an unbelievable experience. To get to see people from around the world. Like it was like 80,000 people within 3 days of a traveling, coming to this great event, and so much interaction with the kids, the community, the parish president, all the local enforcements. Everything was a really great thing, and it actually, gave it that little nudge that we needed to get back on the map and you know, show Chalmette and Louisiana what wrestling means to this community. It's big right now. There's not much for these kids to do anymore, and our biggest goal is to influence these kids and try to keep these kids off the streets because there's so much tragedy going on in the world right now with kids killing themselves and just certain things that go on, and we just try to push that to give these kids something to enjoy again.
Man, I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, anyways. The kids and giving them some activities to do and do that. I want to dive into something though.
Go for it.
Elevate Pro, man. What went on there? If you don't want to talk about it, we ain't got to. But I do want to get your input on what Elevate Pro meant to you because I know, Elevate Pro was going strong. COVID hit, a lot of things happened, and yeah,
Man, it's and I think not too long ago, I think when we did a podcast, we talked about the same thing when we came back. And man, Elevate Pro was just like the stepping stone of professional wrestling. Like we took over, and not to toot your own horn like they say it, but we was it. We was running Louisiana. I don't care what anybody says. We was the promotion to keep up with. We was packing houses, bringing in talent from all over the place, and wherever you went, their name was out there. Um, COVID took a real drastic turn. Like 2020 was like a make and break for us, and then coming back, there was a lot of management change, a lot of things that happened. Um, I recently purchased it from Alan, um, the owner, and we went and we did a few shows, try to keep things going, and then you know, at the time Brittany and Ben was around. She uprooted, moved to Texas, and it was just like, so many moves, so many different changes, and it kind of just faded out after that.
that's understandable. You brought up a name though, Ben Woods. Uh, have you talked to Ben? You seen Ben lately?
Unfortunately, no. I'm not gonna sit here and say that me and him wasn't friends. Like I will always say that, Ben was a mentor to me and a great friend. You know, Ben was Ben. A lot of people judge Ben for his character and the way he was, but that was his passion for the business. And I stuck with him for so long. I was in the middle of it all, between the rise and the fall of Elevate, him getting into TWA and the rise and fall of that. He's no longer uh he stepped away from TWA. I think he had his last match with SWA with Barry Wolf. I think it was Loser Leave Town, and I haven't really spoke to him. Like I don't even think he's on Facebook anymore. Like I think he deactivated all his stuff. Last thing I heard, he moved. So like I said, I'm up in the loop on that one. I don't really know.
Yeah,
So
I had talked to Ben pretty good. I was gonna say glaring the camera there, but I talked to Ben, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared on me. Now I don't know. I was owner of AWA for a while. I don't know if you knew that, but I was trying to work a deal out with him, and I don't know what happened. I've always had nothing but respect. Always enjoyed Ben. I'm not gonna say me and Ben were the best of friends, but like I always had respect for him and just enjoyed his work and enjoyed his intelligence in the wrestling business because he had a lot of it. And
correct,
I hate to
correct.
hear, I saw he had the loser leaves town match with Barry Wolf. It went in and Barry Wolf won, as everybody knows. Speaking of SWA, you've made a few appearances in SWA since they come back under the new management. Now, as we both know, we can remember the Steve Starr management. Now, Steve, I will always be grateful to Steve. He trained me, helped me get into what I'm doing. But what's the new management like for you? Because I've actually been under the new management as well, coming in as the brilliant one. But what do you think of the new management of SWA? What do you think of the direction of the new SWA?
Just touch back on it, like you said, Steve Stahl. He was a great guy. Like, never had an issue with Steve. Steve. Steve was old school. And it's hard to keep that old school style inside this generation that we have now. We have such a mixed, rich, different talent now. I was there for when Lanny took over, and then when the new management now, Josh, you know,
Because
lo- love love the direction SWA is going. From where when Steve, I worked for Steve and then work for him now, it's like SWA elevated to almost a max professional wrestling company. You went from making 300 people to 1,000 people now, like 600 to 1,000. You're putting people in the building. You're bringing in all different talent. You're mixing it up. You know, kudos to them. I think SWA is a fantastic company to work for. I am glad to be back. It's been a hot minute since I've been back. I think the last match I had was against Alex Cruz on January 20th of 2024. So it's been a hot minute since I've been back, and I'm itching to get back. I can't wait for April 26th.
yeah, well, April 26th is tomorrow, so you're getting ready for tomorrow night, and we're going to get into that match in just a second. But you brought up Steve. We've been talking about Steve Starr. Steve Starr is old school. That's that old school Steve Starr. That's what it is. Let me just say this. The times have changed, but that old school mentality still works. And
Yes.
Steve, like I said, I'll always be grateful for Steve. He's another great mind in wrestling. And with him and well, with SWA period, you look at the growth that SWA has done over the last what 8 years that they've been around, and they're still tearing it up. So you got to give it to them. I mean, and we're talking the Laurel area, we're talking Jones County area. Mississippi remembers the Blue Yankee back in the day. These people that still come to SWA shows remember the Blue Yankee. They remember Cowboy Bob Kelly when he came through. So,
Right.
my mother-in-law, or not my mother-in-law, let me take that back. My wife's side of the family, her aunt, broke her leg trying to get to the Blue Yankee back in the day. So that tells you anything. It's just
Right.
different. It hits different in Jones County. It hits different for SWA with that crowd. I mean, I can remember Billy D. McLean, and then I think it was Calvin Rose. They had duct taped him to the ring post or something, or handcuffed him or something like that. And a woman come out, she flipped a switchblade open. Looked like she was finna to cut Billy D. McLean
Oh
left and
yeah,
right. And
yeah. I
but
heard
she was
that.
trying to get Calvin Rose off the post. That's what I'm saying, man. Like you never know what the fans at SWA are going to do. I mean, they're just wild. They are absolutely wild.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that event, but Doc Gracie and them tell that story religiously about the lady with the knife, and that will be always an SWA favorite.
Well, I can also remember, and I was there for both, but I can remember Billy D. McLean used to carry that cane with him, and I can't remember what the match was, but I can remember that Billy D. dropped the cane on the floor to get up on the apron to do something. It may have been with Joe Kane, may have been with the Prince of Pain, Joe Kane. And he got up on the apron to do that, and this old man grabs that cane, and I promise you, when he reared back, I thought he was going to hit Billy D with it, but I think he thought about it for a second, and he just slung it up under the ring, and then he was like, "He's trying to cheat," just you gotta love it. It's old school through and through, but you got the prodigal son tomorrow night. You got Hunter Rhodes. What's your thoughts? Because I'm gonna just say this: I trained with Hunter. I've been around Hunter since day one of being in this business. Hunter Rhodes was on this podcast just a couple of weeks ago. Okay. I he's the big rascal. There's nothing taken. There's you can't take nothing away from this kid. He has fought his way up the mountain. But Mott, I've been around you, and I've seen how you've adapted too. And I have a feeling that you're kind of like me. You're on my level. It's whatever it takes to win, baby. It's whatever it takes to win. But what's your thoughts?
And look, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. The kid is good. I've wrestled him before. We already had a couple run-ins, and we were supposed to finish this out. And SWA management kept throwing different matches. You know, we were supposed to wrestle, and then I wrestled Alice Cruz, and then I was supposed to wrestle, and then something came up, and they changed it. You know, so we haven't really got to finish what we started, like I stated in my video. But tomorrow night is going to be a different me. What he's seen last year and the last time we stepped in the ring together is not even compared to what's coming tomorrow night. If anybody's seen what happened at our last TWA show, you know, poor Alex Cruz and Ray Fury took a chair to the back, you know, by me. You know, Billionaires Club has come back. It's stronger than ever. And all I can say is everybody better get ready because the best surprise is yet to come on both sides of the fence, on TWA and SWA. So tomorrow night, Hunter Rhodes, I hope he's 100%. I know he's still walking around with that little cast on his arm, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if he don't protect it when he goes into that next match with his little buddy, he might be going in that match with one arm instead of two.
Well,
So I
I'll
hope.
just say this about Hunter Rhodes. I'll go ahead and give you some strategy for tomorrow night. Okay. You know, I talked good about Hunter Rhodes. Trained with him. Trained with a kid. But you know, the thing about me is they don't call me the brilliant one for nothing. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'll throw it out there. If you need assistance of a great manager, the brilliant one's always open. But Hunter Rhodes is a weakling. You want to know why he's a weakling?
Go
Because he
for it. Let me
cares
hear.
about things. He has feelings. Okay. Nick Wonder barely touched his girlfriend, and he's freaking out over it. Okay. His mind is somewhere else. It's not on you. It's on Nick Wonder. You know, he's already occupied. This should be an easy go in, take care of business kind of deal. Because Hunter's mind is not right. You know, here's my philosophy on women. Okay, there's an ocean out there, and it's full of fish. There is not one woman that's special enough, you know, for me to care if Nick Wonder laid a finger on my girl. I don't care. I'm sorry. You know, when it comes down to it, it's about two things. It's about green and winning. I like money and I like to win. You can replace women all day long, but Hunter thinks he's one of those young kids that thinks, "Oh my God, this is the woman of my dreams. This is the woman I love." Okay, come on, whatever. You know, that's the thing. You got to think about yourself because that woman's not thinking about you when she leaves you and divorces you and takes all your money. I mean, really?
Yeah, really. I mean, he's all only advice I can give him if he's listening to this is you better flip the page and go back to the chapter of me and him because if he's worried about Nick Wonder, he's gonna be very upset when that bell rings.
Oh, I'd just say this. There's no doubt, and I'm just telling you this from friend to friend. He's not even thinking about you. All he's got in his mind is Nick Wonder. Okay, that should light a fire under you. letting you know that you're not that important, that he doesn't even care
Oh,
that
I
you're
see it.
next.
I see it. I see it. I see it. He doesn't say nothing. He doesn't. He doesn't talk. He doesn't
Has he
really
even
talk about
acknowledged
anything.
you, Mott? Has he even acknowledged you?
Nope. Nope. He has not even said a word yet since they announced this match. So, and
I mean,
all the Tito,
he hadn't
all
even
that.
put a comment down there, has he?
Nope. Not that I know of. I seen his little brothers laugh at the post. You know, well, I'm gonna
Oh,
show
they
them
can
all.
laugh all day long.
I'm
You
gonna show
know,
them all who's laughing after that night. I'm gonna show them.
exactly. Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing, and honestly, like he's got a match Saturday night. He's got a match tomorrow night. SWA recipe for disaster, and he can't even acknowledge you. Has he even said your name out loud?
Nope.
You know what I call that? Disrespectful. I call that disrespectful. And he's basically telling you, Mott, you're nothing to him. But I guarantee you, you put that video of Nick Wonder touching his girlfriend, uh,
Oh, he'd
we're
be
going to
all
hear a
over it.
thousand words.
Right. Right.
So,
Don't worry about me touching your girl or nothing. I have my own. I'm good.
well,
You know.
here's my advice to you. Now, as everybody, they all know, I play by the rules. I don't cheat. But I'm going to just say this: pack a punch, get some of them knuckles, okay? Because his mind's not in the right place. He don't care until he gets his hands on Nick Warner, and he can't touch Nick Warner. Monty Warbucks, the GM of SWA, come on here. They cannot touch each other until there's a match announced, and we don't know when that's going to happen.
It ain't happening tomorrow night.
No,
He's
it's not.
stepping he's stepping in the ring with me and he better get ready because he's gonna be very lost
Well,
when I step
he's
foot.
not going to be eating no more. He's going to be sipping his food through a straw once you get done with it. And once we get off the podcast, I'm going to give you some strategic advice, okay? Because I know how these situations work. Like what I'm saying was his mind's being somewhere else. He don't care. He has, he has no thoughts. But I'm gonna just say this: Hunter Rhodes versus Mott Fleming tomorrow night. Recipe for disaster. SWA. We had Barry Wolf on, and I respect Barry Wolf. Barry Wolf is a legend in the state of Mississippi. I can put Barry Wolf. I just love watching Barry Wolf wrestle. But the problem is, I think Barry Wolf's starting to get a little soft himself, and you know, he's gonna get on. He's gonna get to take on the SWA heavyweight champion tomorrow night, or Southern heavyweight champion tomorrow night, in Samson Richards. And I'm gonna just say this: Samson ain't no joke. That's a big boy.
Yeah, yeah. Not gonna
But
com- not gonna comment on Barry. I know Barry's up and down with whatever he's got going on, but
yeah, he's another
he's
one in his thoughts. When you don't have a conscience, you'll do anything.
but I could tell you that right there. It's like going back to your comment about cheating and all that. I don't look to cheat. I just look to just to come in and just destroy. It's to the point where after 7 years of being a middleman and being a puppet and being a yes man, I'm just gonna take control of my own faith. And either you're gonna have to put me under to knock me down because I'm gonna keep getting back up. So you better do the job the first time because I'm gonna keep coming.
I agree with you on that. But if you're not cheating, you're not trying. That's just my opinion on things. But before we get out of here, I just want to. I got a couple things I want to go through. Where can people find you on social media?
So
You have any social media?
yeah, yeah. So you can find me on pretty much anything right now. Facebook, Instagram. So Facebook's Mott Fleming, Instagram's Resilient Mott Fleming, TikTok, Snapchat. You can find me anywhere. One of them profiles. I have a link tree, and it's got all my social media on it. My YouTube videos from my few matches that I had. I finally didn't get a chance to get my old videos from the past. For some reason, I can't get into that account, so I had to make a new one. So all my past matches from SWA with Alex Cruz and Hunter Rhodes, and they're on there. Um, but yeah, that's where you can find me on social media.
All right. So tomorrow night, Recipe for Disaster SWA Promotions presents. You're going to want to be there. Go check it out. You can message them on Facebook, get your tickets. I'm sure front row sold out as always. Mott, now I get to the part of this show where I ask a few names, just want your opinions on them. I made sure that we've been around them, and we'll get to that right now. Let's start with remember like the last or the Elevate Pro show that I came to that was in Chalmette.
Hmm.
You remember I asked you on my way home that night because I was driving from New Orleans to Meridian. I wanted to get David Ali on the podcast, on King of Wrestling podcast when I was doing King of Wrestling podcast. You helped out with that. David Ali took on Ray Fury that night in what was a heck of a match. What was your remembrance of that night? Because that was the last show before COVID.
Mm. That show, that show was very heartbreaking because unfortunately, when we did the 2019 show and then we did the gauntlet match, I tore my meniscus, so I was out. So Minotaur had to take my position with the tag match with Joe Oso at the time, and I remember that match very well. And that night, it was very hard to swallow that because it was like, you know, knowing that I was injured. But yes, I remember that. I remember that show. That show was very hard to believe that was our last show after everything that we've done.
It really, I mean, it really was. But let me ask you this now. You brought up Joe. What's your thoughts of Joe? I hadn't seen Joe in a while. He did come to an AWA show in Mobile, but let's bring up Joe.
Joe, Joe's another one. I haven't really heard from Joe lately. He moved to Alabama, got married, and living his best life up there. So I mean, not saying that you're never gonna see him again, but at this time, I think it's just he's doing him. I mean, I didn't even know he showed up to an AWA show. So,
Well, I mean, this
um,
was probably 2022. He came back there. Me and him talked. He was wanting to get, back in a little bit, and it just never happened. And I guess he was happy. I mean, when men get married, man, they think that's the greatest thing in the world, and then 10 years later, they're Al Bundy. So, I mean, all right, number two, I want to bring up Doc Gracie. Tell me something about Doc Gracie, the
man,
little Lord of the Rings Frodo.
uh, I mean, look, no, there's no love hate between Doc and I. We had our ups and downs. I mean, I remember when Doc used to come all the way from Mississippi to Elevate to train with us. Doc has gone a long way. I feel like me and Doc has the same dilemma in life. We have real life drama and real life stuff going on, and our ups and downs, injuries. It's just part of life. But I see Doc and them are coming back. I seen SWA apparently posted a match. They're gonna be in a tag match. They've been gone for 7 months as well. So, but Doc and I, Doc and I's, I would say, been friends for a very long time. Um, I have a lot of respect for Doc, and he has he's been through a lot. I give him that.
Oh my God. I'm gonna just say this about Doc Gracie. He kicked me in the mouth about 2 years ago when I was managing Delicious Van Vicious. He's sweeter than a German chocolate cake. He lifts barbell, places a woman's pet and a man's regret. He's Delicious Van Vicious. And I was on that ring apron trying to point out to the ref what he was doing wrong, and Doc just super kicks me out of nowhere. I don't know if you saw that video, but it made me very mad. So with that little Lord of the Rings Frodo trying to go put the last ring in the hole there, you know, okay. Yeah, I still hadn't got over that, Doc. You can deal with it, buddy. All right, the last name I'm gonna bring up, and this is gonna be a controversial name. There's a lot of allegations behind this name. Co-owner with you, Brittany. I want to hear your thoughts on Brittany when y'all bought, because when you bought AW or AWA Elevate Pro, remember you come on the King of Wrestling podcast. We talked. You were excited about it. Y'all did Elevate Pro. Y'all did some shows. It happened. And then she's in Texas. And then some stuff comes up.
Yeah. So, you know, when we bought the company, everything was running smooth and everything. She had a different opinion on things, and we decided to give to sign full ownership to her because she said that she was trying to get these other businesses to approve and make things bigger and better. And then when all that happened, it was like that last show was kind of like it was it. She packed everything up in a storage unit and pretty much rolled out to Texas. And that was the last time I heard from her. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not gonna get into her personal life and everything that happened on outside of wrestling because that's none of my business, and I'm not gonna blast people like that because I mean, unfortunately, there was a lot of things that happened, and I don't think that needs to be aired out. I think the world knows about it, and I don't think that's just not my business. I don't like to I don't like to bring personal life into wrestling if that's the case. Like what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. I mean, you don't want freeloaders living in your mama's house. You just
Right.
don't want that to happen. Mott, we got Recipe for Disaster tomorrow night. You're taking on Hunter Rhodes. Going to be a heck of a match. Is there anything you want to say before we close the show tonight?
Yeah, two things. So tomorrow night, I'm walking in and walking out either with your arm in your little cast, or you're gonna prove me wrong and flip your chapter back to where we started, and not worry about Nick Wonder right now. So I'm letting you know right now, Hunter Rhodes, I am coming in your territory and I am putting you down this time. The second one, and this is for June 28th, TWA, Summer Havoc, Alex Cruz. After our match, I am coming for your title. I am putting you out there, and you know why. You and Fury know why. And I'm not going to get into details. But when it happens, everybody will know why.
All right. Now, before we get out of here, I want you to explain to the listeners TWA. Like, is it what's TWA?
TWA is basically the old Elevate picking up where it left off. Minus some of the, they would say, headaches in the back behind closed doors. Basically, that's pretty much out of the way now. You know, you have people coming back like Caramel Lightning, Antonio Bronson. You have a lot of the SWA guys coming back. Myself, Alex Cruz, Ray Fury, Lucha Lacora, you name it. When when we came back and we put back together where we left off, people have been blowing us up left and right to come work for us. And it was just like it was when we left off with Elevate Pro. You know, so TWA, despite whatever people heard back in the day or whatever's going on with the drama, but I can tell you right now, Takeover Wrestling is a very great place to work for and has a great locker room and great people to be around. And I would say 90% of the people that you interview has worked for Takeover Wrestling already, and we only been going since August of last year.
Let me ask you this about Takeover Wrestling. When are they going to get that fan favorite, that person everybody loves, the brilliant one there?
All I can say is I would reach out to the owners, brother. Reach out to the management because I can tell you right now that the opportunity's limitless right now.
Well, I mean, when you get the brilliant one on your show, I mean, it's like having The Rock. It's like having John Cena. I mean, it doesn't get any better than the brilliant one. But anyway, Mott, I want to thank you for coming on the show. As always, it was a pleasure. It was good, you know, kicking back, talking to you.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it
been a
was. It
while since
was.
me and you had chatted.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and it feels good to get back and sit down and talk with a good friend. We go back a long way. Um, you've been doing your thing. I seen you when you did the other podcast, and then you started doing the whole management gimmick and everything. You got really wrapped up into that and all that. So I mean, look, kudos to you, brother. Keep it going. You're doing great. Um, I'm glad you come back with the podcast again because, like I said, I enjoy talking. I enjoy being here. And it
Well,
won't be the last time.
no, it definitely won't be the last time. But you want me to tell you something? I'm gonna spill my guts out real quick, if you got a second. That is,
Go for it.
look, I got in podcasting. I wanted to help independent wrestling. You know what I figured out in the first few months? You could figure out who cared about independent wrestling are themselves. And my thing was, I got into the managing. I'm not gonna make any remarks on how my managerial skills is because I don't care. Here's my thing: when it comes to people that think they know the business and they want to judge people, I don't give a shit if you think I'm so and so or not. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I fulfill what I want to do and could care less what you do on your website. My thing is this: I am the brilliant one, and there ain't nobody better at doing what I do because I am one of a kind.
That's right.
I, I do not have to put my spots out there on the line. But Mott, thank you for coming. And we're definitely going to do this again. I definitely want to hear about, TWA a little bit more. We'll bring you on and talk about that. But thank you for coming on. Is there anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, just Hunter Rose, you better get ready because your clock's ticking.
Exactly. Hunter, your clock is ticking.